Hi, my name is Marguerite Schaffer. I was originally born in Germany. My parents were refugees from parts of East Germany that was kind of overcome by the Russian during World War II. So you can imagine that kind of trauma that is kind of in the world right now with the Ukraine is kind of hitting pretty hard home again. When I was a little girl, I always was kind of dreaming big and I wanted to leave Germany. I wanted to see the world, so I traveled to South Africa, I went to England, and people were telling me all the time, your English is not very good, you can never go in another country and be anything. And at that moment when people told me that, it was over a period of time, I looked at them and said, oh, you don't know me. You don't know me, and I will show you what I can do. So I studied social work, and doing my internship I came to America and I did fall in love with my husband, and my English was pretty bad at that time, but he was very good at rephrasing sentences and said, is that what you said? I heard you say X, Y, and Z, and then I would repeat, and so we really communicated pretty well with each other. So I started my master's degree at VCU. I was married at that point, and America could not accept my social work degree as a master's degree. So that was really tough for me, because one of the professors had the same degree, went to the same university, and his degree was a master's degree, and he went on to get his PhD. And when they looked at my references, even though I was a straight A student, it was nothing. I had to redo everything again. So I told them, I can show you, I can do it, and I did it in a year. The first day when I went to school, I had to read everything and translate everything, and it took me hours. And then finally one day I said, I'm not going to translate anything, I'm going to read, and I'm going to understand the language, and I did. Long story short, we were expecting our second child, and my English still was not very good, and I experienced really a lot of pain, and something was wrong. So I went to the doctor and explained to him what went wrong. And my language was not that good at that time, and the doctor didn't believe me. They felt that I was hysterical. A week later, emergency C-section had to be performed, and my placenta ruptured, and the doctor could not perform the C-section in a minute and a half. It took him 8 minutes to deliver Nick, and he developed cerebral palsy. He didn't told us that at the beginning, and I could see with this child something was wrong. Something was absolutely wrong. And for the longest time, I blamed myself, because if I would have been able to explain to the doctor, had the language to explain exactly what was going on, Nick would not have had cerebral palsy. So the doctor, his pediatrician, gave me a poem called Welcome to Holland. And this poem is basically describing when you have a child with a disability, it's almost like you prepare for a family vacation to Italy, and then all of a sudden you are arriving in Holland. And arriving in Holland is a completely different language. You have to learn everything. And for me, it was really a new language. I had to learn special education law. I had to learn all the medical terms. I had to learn what speech, PT, and physical therapy is all entailed. What can we do to improve his disability? And then somebody told me, I was in a support group, that if you want to change the system, you have to be part of the system. And then I became a school social worker. Came on board thinking, as a school social worker, I can help people with similar situations. Being an upstander, understanding the parents, understand the pain that when you are being discriminated against because you have an accent, people can't understand you. People don't take you serious enough when you say something is wrong, because they don't believe that you, because you don't have the same eloquence in the language. So I learned a lot of things during that time over the last 17 years with Nick. I had to push doctors. I had to tell doctors no when they were trying to prescribe medication, when they wanted to do surgery. I had to develop a friend team of people who are in the field, who kind of helped me with a lot of the plans and surgeries and medications and treatment plans. It was almost like you learned a new guidebook, but the same thing happened also in education. You know, even though I was a social worker who studied special education law, I had to hire an advocate to help me with Nick's education. And sometimes I felt I was running against walls. Sometimes I was trying to be part of the team, and yet Nick didn't get what he needed. So there was a lot of pain involved, but in the end, I do think that when we look at the things, what happened to us, we can stop this and say, we will make a difference. We will stand up and say, we need to do something different for other people. So that's my story. I arrived in Holland, and Holland was beautiful too. So I hope my story maybe helps somebody else.